Hello and welcome to this afternoon hangout, 5:30 p.m. Central Time, August 4th, 2017. John and Neil, who joins me sometimes, he asked me if I would like to do an examination of Old Grandad. I've done a review, a solo review, and but he said he got a 750 milliliter bottle of it, and so well, I have a little bit left of this 375, as you can see. I said, okay, I've been doing so many hangouts, I'm getting worn out on them. But he should be joining momentarily, I would assume. Better be joining. He came up with this idea. So Dawn Busters is not canceled. Dawn Busters is on hiatus because I have to drink down this back stock, okay? So it could be a long time before I do another Dawn Busters. You'll look at a video coming up, maybe if you look at the video for one of those taste challenges. I got all these brandy bottles lined up in the background. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I have to drink through all this, and I don't rush to drink these things. We talking about 2 ounces every time, 2 or 3 ounces. Like, I don't drink a lot of heavy hard liquor, okay? So that's the reason for it. It's not that I don't like doing the Dawn Busters taste challenges, is that I got to get through some other things. So that's the issue. Lance DeLush is doing a hangout tonight. He's going to talk about how he got interviewed by a local media up there in Ohio, and he's going to talk about Anchor Steam being bought out by Sapporo. I'm not going to be able to join that, so I have something to do. But okay, so we'll just wait on John and Neil, but I'm going to start. I guess if he doesn't join, eventually I'll just delete the video. Or I'll call it a revisit. All right. 1882, this came out. No, it's not the same recipe. It was bought out by sorry, I got kicked out for a moment. Got to use the great Microsoft Edge. Hello from Mississippi, says Zach Coop, and Lance DeLush says this was out of the blue. It was sort of out of the blue, but I didn't invite too many people. There's John. But I mean, Lance, if you have Old Grandad, you can join. So feel free. All right, John. I was just getting started. I got kicked out for a second. Sometimes it happens when I try to set up the chat. You went and bought 750 milliliter bottle of Old Grandad, right? So you couldn't resist.
Yeah, I saw it. I couldn't resist it. So I picked up a 750 ml bottle. It was, I think it was $16 before tax. So.
We got some comments. JC says, hi, Jay. How you doing? Great beer reviews. Thanks. Hey, thanks for watching. Drunken One says, what up, bro? You could join us if you got some Old Grandad. Drunken One, want to talk about? Forrest Fan said, I love the Old Grandad. JC says, Jay is a good beer dude. I appreciate you saying that. Some people would not agree, but you know how that goes. I'll invite Lance DeLush. I don't know. You know what? I don't know if I'm connected to him on Google Plus on Facebook for years, but I don't know about. So you couldn't. How much did it cost you?
I think it was about $16 before tax. So yeah, I mean, I guess total is about $17. That's
a little bit cheaper than than we pay. It's about 20.
Yeah, it was bonded. The bonded was $26.99 before tax, so this was significantly cheaper than the bond.
Yeah, and then the bonded one we can get for like $22, you know. But well, this bottle here was $9 for the half size. So yeah, it's about 18 for the full size. I guess it's similar. It's not the original recipe. They changed it. It got bought out by you know, the Jack Daniels company, and then they got, you know, they were both bought out by Grant Brown Foreman, and then that's who owned. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Jim Beam. Excuse me. They got bought out by Jim Beam, and then Jim Beam got bought by. Jim Beam got bought by Suntory. All right, John, go on. Driving in a car, don't you? Hey, you can't.
Yeah, I'm driving home.
You can't drive and watch drinking videos.
You can't drink and drive.
You ever had old granddad? Oh,
Yeah.
heck.
I got one I'm looking to try though, but it's not old granddad.
Yeah.
It's a Carbox Rodeo Clown Double IPA. Got a 4-pack of them.
I've had that one.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
I like Corbuck. All right, well, sit back, pay attention to the road, and watch us talk about old granddad.
That's all good. I'm in.
Okay, I'm going to mute you for a moment just to get the background noise out, but feel free to
Cool.
watch. Okay, and then I'll unmute you in a minute if you have any comments about it.
All right. I'll shoot you the bingo when I'm ready.
Okay. All right. So, John, you've had some of this already?
I have not. I waited patiently to open it for this examination.
All right. Well, go ahead.
All right. So yeah, I just poured it. It smell, you know, and the aroma is a lot like the Grandad Bonded, just a lot more muted and a little bit more pleasant. I don't get the alcohol as much, which makes sense, obviously, because it's only 80 proof. But you know, one of the interesting things about this this whiskey too is it's one of the few whiskeys that was allowed to continue production during Prohibition, and it was produced by a pharmaceutical company, the American Medicinal Spirits Company.
Yeah,
which I always think that's interesting, the Prohibition thing, and then, you know, these companies that were allowed to produce, you know, spirits during Prohibition and market them as medicine. So, but the aroma is very pleasant.
I'll be right back. I'm getting an ice cube.
Okay. Yeah, very pleasant aroma. Get some of that vanilla, some of the oak in the aroma as well. I don't really get that spicy note that I picked up with the old Grandad Bonded.
I'm getting
more of the sweetness, more of the vanilla and the oak, I think, in this one. Maybe a little bit. Yeah, maybe a little bit of the rye, but not to the extent that you got with the old Grandad Bonded.
I'm getting a little. Okay, I'm gonna read a few. Lance Delush says I would, but I'm setting up for my live stream. Yeah, that's right. Forrest Van says, me and my dad drink every Christmas because Bad Santa always drinks it in the movie. Started as a joke, but it stuck. And then Mr. Tank says, damn it, you drunk again? He always likes to say that. No, just joking. He says, never had old granddad. Tyler says, I'd recommend it. Oh, he's asking JC that if he's drunk. Oh, boy. All right, well, I'm not going to entertain those crazy comments. It's got a higher rye mash bill than your average bourbon whiskey, so it's going to be a little more spicy in the nose. And I find it's got a little vanilla, a little oak, and that spicy rye. I'm going to get a little bit more because I didn't pour quite enough. And by a little bit, I meant like half an ounce, you know, not a lot. All right. Well, what do you think about the flavor?
Let's see. Sweetness at first, you know, get a little bit of the oak, and then on the back end again, kind of like with the bonded, except not as alcohol, not as burning in the, you know, when you swallow, but you get that rye on the back of the palate. This one is more my type of whiskey, just because it's 80 proof, so it's a lot smoother going down. Very pleasant. Yeah, and I think that, I don't know, I'm kind of the high rye mash bill is, these are kind of growing on me. It just adds that extra dimension, I think, to these whiskeys, and just, you know, more depth of flavor. I mean, just very, very pleasant and easy drinking.
Yeah, and if you get on the Buffalo Trace website, or you could just do a search, because people have copied it and pasted it on there. You type in a Buffalo Trace mash bill. They've got a whole, like, this little pictograph, and it shows all their different mash bills for their bourbons, which ones are high rye, you know, medium rye, and all. And but of course, this is a different company. This is Beam-Suntory. But yeah, I kind of like it. I wouldn't want to drink that high rye all the time. That spiciness kind of gets to me after a little bit, but I like it. Now, like you said, the bonded, the 100 proof is good. It's super delicious. But in my case, maybe it's a little too strong for me. You know?
Yeah, I found that the ice cube works well with the 100 proof. I've been drinking.
Yeah.
We did our exam, and I started a single ice cube in there, kind of swirl it a little bit, and open up some more aroma, and mellows it out to make it. Anyway, that's a perfect drink. The bonded version is to put an ice cube in it.
Yeah, I agree with that. I have to almost. It's almost like I have to put an ice cube. I don't have to, but I prefer it. Really, it makes it a lot easier. I drank all the Old Crow bonded. That seemed, but that was a different thing, you know, because like every sample I did, it was better than the previous. So I said, man, I'm right at the end of the bottle, but it really did start to have a lot of character. The Wild Turkey 101, that was pretty harsh the whole way, but I mean, I liked it. It had a lot of different interesting notes to it, and but that's gone. And then if I wouldn't have done this hangout with you today, I was going to drink some of that Hennessy Privilege, which is I'm trying to drink the rest of that bottle. That's I think it's 94 proof brandy, and but I said, oh well, I'll just wait. But
yeah,
if you see,
I saw the video. I think it was the Milwaukee's Best versus Ham, had all the different brandies lined up that you still have to get through. The Hennessy, the Paul Masson.
Just looking at that, you're going to see why there's not going to be any Dawn Busters for a while. Because I was looking in the cabinet, I said, that's it. I got to drink through the Paul Masson. They're all VSOP too. The Hennessy Privilege, I don't have too much of that left, but I got to drink through the Paul Masson, the Hartley, the D.W. Anders, the Saint Remy, and I believe there's one more VSOP. I was like, this is going to take months. And then, not to mention all the other blended whiskeys, but I'm I'm gonna hold off on those because I'm gonna probably do taste challenges with those. Those are a lot more difficult because they're so thin in the flavor that I don't even know if you get much of a challenge, but you might. I won't know until I really, because the Jim Beam, what's the name of that one? Beam's 8-star. You know, I was talking like, oh yeah, they're all the same, they're all the same. But then when I did the Beam's 8-star against some other ones, I come to find out they're not the same. And that's the same thing with those American adjunct lagers, right? I was able to tell Pabst Blue Ribbon very easily. That's
right. Yeah, your PBR, your Hams, your Milwaukee's Best. You know, they're all comparable, and I'd still like to think that I'd be able to tell them apart. But like, you know, until I do a side by side, it's gonna, you know, it's impossible to know for sure. And from watching some of your taste challenges, it's obviously a lot harder than it you know, most might think, because a lot of them are so similar. You know, you have to drink them for years and years, I guess, to pick up the little nuances of some of the different AALs.
Yeah, and with the light beers, it's nearly impossible. But I was shocked. I was a little shocked because I thought, well, Pabst Blue Ribbon is all the same, you know. But I started doing it, and that Pabst Blue Ribbon was just not the same as the other ones. It had more of a roasted malt flavor. It was almost like toast versus untoasted bread. So it was kind of remarkable. And I did Pabst Blue Ribbon versus Budweiser, and then I reshot it because I didn't like the way the first one came out. But when I did the second shoot, I still mixed up the glasses, and I was, well, I don't want to ruin that surprise. People go watch the video. And then I'm going to try to do, I think the next one I'm going to try to do is Miller High Life versus Budweiser, and then Miller High Life versus Pabst Blue Ribbon. Then maybe bring Coors into play. Well, this.
I think. Have you ever done
what?
I was going to ask if you had ever done the Miller High Life versus Miller Genuine Draft.
Yes. There's a very subtle difference, but that's the reason Miller Genuine Draft is pretty much dead, because people said, yeah, it's a subtle difference, but I ain't paying $3 more for it. You know what I mean? So they just said, Miller just said, nah, let it die, let it die. I think the Old Granddad is a legendary product, even though it's not as strong as it used to be, but that is the same case for the Jim Beam, the Jack Daniels, etc. 80 proof is probably in most people's wheelhouse. There's also the 100 proof, you know, the bonded you were talking about, and there's a 114 proof. Old Granddad 114. I haven't had it. I'd be a little reluctant to try it.
Yeah, I think it was available when I went to pick this one up. I saw a small bottle of it.
114 proof?
Yeah, it's called Old Granddad 114.
Holy crap! I'd have to do that alone.
I tried one. My friend David brought over one a month ago. It was a 115 proof. I can't remember which one. I said, oh my goodness. He said, don't drink such a big sip. I said, this is too strong. And he even admitted, but it was awesome. You know, it tasted great. Now, Drunken One, you ever drink bourbon? He's muted, yeah.
Okay, yeah, there I am. All right, yeah, I like bourbon. I like blended whiskeys. Secret 7. It's really one of my favorites. Yeah, 7 and 7s. I like some Crown and Coke. Hell, I've even been known to drink some Southern Comfort, but that's pretty sweet, that stuff.
Yeah, that's a spirit whiskey. That's a liqueur, yeah.
Yeah, that's just a little too sweet for me. It's all right, but yeah, between that and the Coke, man, it'll give you a hell of a hangover if you drink too many. All right, I'm muting myself again.
Oh, well, I was going to ask you something. Oh, what? You don't have to.
What you got? I'm just trying not to have the background noise.
Right. I know. I'm gonna let you mute it. We're not gonna be on much longer. I never, you know, I've actually literally never tried Seagram 7.
What? Oh no, it's good. It's something like CC, like Canadian Club. It's just a blended Canadian whiskey. Never tried Seagram 7.
I'm only 49.
Yeah, it's a lot like Canadian Club, I find.
Get
Very
you
similar
both back
to
and some Sprite or 7-Up, whichever you prefer. Mix them about half and half. Woohoo!
What did you say, John? What did you say?
The Seagram 7 is very comparable to the Canadian Club. I've had both. I think they taste very similar.
Okay. Yeah. The Canadian Club is pure whiskey. Now, the Seagram 7 is about 65% grain alcohol with about 35% whiskey. So, but that doesn't mean anything. Those people know how to blend these type of items. So, I think the Canadian, what is that one called? You know, the big one, the Crown Royal. I think that's all whiskey. Yeah, it's all whiskey. But I think the Seagram 7 is a blended whiskey. Oh man, but I got all these blended whiskeys. I got all these brandies. I got all this stuff to get through. Then after that little bit of madness is taken care of, then I'll try to get back to the Dawnbusters and trying to do some new whiskeys like the Barton. There's Barton whiskey, a blend, and then there's Barton, the very old Barton, which is pure Kentucky straight whiskey, which is kind of a legend. Been on the market over 60 years, and it's real popular in Kentucky. I don't know about the rest of the country, but any last comments on the Old Granddad?
I give it a thumbs up. I mean, it's been around. It's first bottled in 1880. It's got a rich history. The 80 proof, I think, is a little bit, my opinion, that's just more my type of whiskey. It's a lot easier to drink. I like the high rye mash bill on these whiskeys. They're going on me. It adds more character and than your typical whiskey. So it's something that I recommend people give a try and just and it's also one of the top 10 standard bourbons in the country today. So it's obviously done well for itself.
Yeah, it's a popular brand, and it's real smooth. It's got a nice, clean finish. It's real nice to deal with. The next one we're going to examine for sure. Now, there's no question about this. Anybody can join this too if you like. The next one we're going to look at, it could be in a month, 2 months. William Kepler said, I don't care if it's 6 months if you want to wait to drink down your stash. I said, okay, I appreciate that. But it's probably won't be that long. It's Early Times whiskey. That's a real old brand. That's a very old brand of whiskey. It's pretty popular. You know, it's got its little niche following, Early Times. I think they got songs about that whiskey. Yeah. So
it'll be interesting. It's one of the only whiskeys that's sold here in the U.S. that as a whiskey, but it's actually marketed overseas as bourbon because it's aged in used barrels and not new barrels.
Right. It has to be the first used charred oak barrels, so they must use the second run. But that's probably why it's cheap. Now let's see, last little comment. Scruffy the Janitor, he comments sometimes, quite a bit actually. He says, I love doing the taste challenge, the taste test challenge. Just did a new and old ice house like the 5.5 better. Oh yeah, I think the whole world likes the 5.5 better. He says, I do get my local gas station to get me genuine draft, but all I can get is 12-pack of bottles. Yeah, that's pretty much all we get over here. A few stores have 6-packs. Some have the 24 packs of cans. Most have the 12 packs of bottles. But you know what? Miller Genuine Draft is not even sold in this parish anymore. I would have to drive at least 18 to 20 miles to get it. So it's just like a dying brand. And I don't think the world's going to miss Miller Genuine Draft too much. They spent a lot of money. They used to be, you know, 20 years ago, that was like one of the top 5 selling beer brands. Now it's not even a player in the game, really. But Old Granddad,
I still get it in my area.
Georgia. Yeah, it's they've been having a website.
But yeah, like you said, it's kind of a dying brand. It's not nearly as popular.
No, I mean, they've had a dead website for 3 years. You get on the website for 3 years, it says coming soon. I'm like, when, in 20 years? But Old Granddad's a player in the bourbon game. It's a major player. Old Granddad, Old Crow, Old Overholt, which I've never tried Old Overholt, but I see it around. So they even have a website called the Olds Whiskey. It's all those. There's not much on the website, but it's all the Olds. There's even Old Crow Reserve, which I've never seen in real life. Wait, I'm thinking maybe I saw it in Kentucky. I couldn't buy everything. No, I think I would have bought it if I'd have seen it. Old Crow Reserve. I must have not seen it. Maybe I dreamed about it. All right.
No being required for these whiskeys. It's funny. I think you mentioned in one of our other examinations, but these don't advertise. You never see anything about them, but they seem to do well. But the beers, if they don't get constant promotion, or if you know, then they seem to just die.
They die. It's weird. You know, the beers, they don't
Crazy.
Seem to sell themselves to a large extent. I mean, there's some, but the whiskey, it can just be on the shelf, like you say, and people will buy it, you know, for some weird reason. I mean, when's the last time you saw an E&J VS brandy commercial? Oh yeah, you never did. Maybe in 1981. But yet there it is, the #1 selling brandy in America, and it might, you know what kind of promotion it gets? Like sometimes these little cardboard cards at the liquor store saying two for $10 or something like that. But for the small bottles. But aside from that, it gets no kind of promotion. But yet there it is, selling itself away. Now you do get some brands that have heavy promotion, right? Jim Beam, of course, all the time. Any sports channel, Jack Daniels, turn on any sports channel, Jack Daniels. Hennessy, cognac, they always running those commercials. Trying to think what else. Some of those vodkas, like
Smirnoff.
Yeah. Smirnoff and that other one. Well, you know, there's a lot of other ones. I've never seen a Tito's commercial. Have you? I've never seen a Tito's handmade vodka commercial, but that stuff sells like crazy crate.
It is, yeah.
That stuff sells like cuckoo.
Yeah, it's the way that just word of mouth and the handmade vodka and the process on their website. They spend a lot more time and money to on the way that they distill or the marketing campaign that helps sell it.
Yeah, your audio
as well.
Your audio's breaking up a little bit. You must be on Google Chrome, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. You thought it was me, but it wasn't me. Because I keep seeing this across the platforms. I watch all kind of hangouts and people start doing that banjo. It sounds like a banjo, you know, bing, 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 bing. And I ask, are you on Google Chrome? Well, yeah, why do you ask? Oh, just wondering. But yeah, I mean, every time I turn on any kind of baseball game, there's Jack Daniels everywhere you turn. Everywhere you turn is Jim Beam, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels, Jim Beam, Jack Daniels. So they are the big time sellers. But yet these other ones, like we're talking about, like the Early Times, which has had probably one commercial on TV since 1946. There it is, still selling away. Evan Williams, let's see, do I ever see Evan Williams commercials on TV? Can't say that I ever did. I see, but you see Evan Williams there. You will see billboards at sporting events, so it does have some promotion now.
They have the cardboard signs in the windows at the package store of the Evan Williams at almost anywhere you go here.
Yeah, and I was watching a baseball game on ESPN, and it was a big old Evan Williams sign. I think that was a Wrigley Field or somewhere like that. And I said, oh yeah, but they're owned by a huge company, and they'll spend the money on it. Well, anyway, I guess we've exhausted Old Granddad. Half the discussion was not about Old Granddad, but you know, it's kind of a simple product. It's like, it tastes good. It's not too complex. It's easily drinkable. It's enjoyable. It's hard to find 30 minutes worth of things to say about it, the way I feel about it. But it's worth your time, you know what I mean? Like, whatever. You go along with that, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always nice to use the whiskeys to branch into beer discussions or other stuff. I think the viewers appreciate stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, if the drunken one ever tries the Old Granddad, I would be very interested in his feedback. You think that's a possibility?
I think he would like it.
Hey, Sparky, you think that's a possibility that you would try the Old Granddad? He said, yeah. He's giving thumbs up. Yes, that's a strong possibility.
If I'd have passed the liquor store today, I would have stopped and got that shit just because y'all were talking about it, but I just didn't have one around me.
Okay, but
I live out in the States. They don't have liquor stores out here. They'd get robbed too soon.
They get robbed. Hey, but you got my alert about the early times.
Yeah, I sure did.
So you might want to get one of them for upcoming.
Yeah, I'll sure give it a try.
Okay. All right. Well,
$9.99 for a single bottle.
Yeah, you gonna try the Seagram 7.
I will. But it might be before. It might be a couple of years, because if you saw my back stock, you would be shocked.
No, I'm not saying have to shoot a video. I'm just saying get you a little, pint of it or whatever, a little 750 or whatever, and you gotta have something to do with your time besides drink for the videos, right?
No. If I buy a bottle, the video's getting made. You know how that's gonna work. There's not gonna be any non-video. No, there's not gonna be any non-video consumption. I'm sorry. But yeah, the Seagram 7. Every time I go to get gasoline, I go to, because in Louisiana, not Texas, I know, but in Louisiana, gas stations sell hard liquor. So I go in there and I see Seagram 7, and it's like, why you don't buy me? You know, and I'm like, oh, I'm waiting,
Right.
But it is
in a plastic bottle. You can check it, you can try it.
Yeah, the plastic bottle.
It's fairly inexpensive.
Oh yeah, it's about $6.
Yeah.
But I can go to Walmart.
It's not really expensive.
Yeah, it's not super.
You got booze at Walmart?
What?
You have booze at Walmart?
Certainly do. We have alcohol of all types at Walmart, beer, wine, and liquor, and anybody can pull it off the shelf. You could go shopping at Walmart and tell your 4-year-old, go get me a bottle of that Seagram 7 and bring it to the basket.
Oh, hell.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that wouldn't fly around here. We get away with a lot, but I don't think that would go over. Yeah, no, they know better than to give us that much alcohol.
No, it's very liberal around here about alcohol. Like Walmart, all grocery stores, all gas stations sell alcohol, hard liquor, beer, wine. There's no liquor stores in Louisiana really, because why would you start a liquor store when people can go to the grocery store and buy a whiskey?
Exactly.
Children sit at the bar with their parents. I know a bar room in New Orleans where the child sits with her daddy while he's drinking, and then when they leave, she rings the bell, ding, 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 ding. So,
yeah, I mean, it used to be that way here. They'd have to serve the parent, and then the parent could give it to the kid. And it used to be that way. I think they've changed that since then, though.
Yeah, I don't mean the kid is drinking at the bar with the parent. The kid might be drinking soft Coca-Cola. The parent's drinking whatever. But
yeah, well, I don't know about. Well, they couldn't ever make it into like a liquor bar. They're just a beer bar. But that's the way that it used to be. Like they would serve the adult, and the kid couldn't like run around the place. But they were sitting at the table. The adult could pass the beer to the kid, and the kid could drink it. Used to be. They changed that, I think.
Yeah, I'm talking about an actual bar that sells every kind of liquor.
Oh no, yeah. That's they couldn't make it in there at all.
You know, the daddy's drinking cocktails and the little girl's drinking her chocolate milk or whatever, and they're all talking blah blah blah. And this guy's a lawyer, a fairly prominent lawyer in New Orleans too, I might add. But they're drinking his mixed drinks, and the child's drinking her chocolate milk. And every time they would leave, the daughter had insisted on ringing this bell, ding 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 ding. Nice. And so I said, now, as far as the children drinking, in Louisiana, you can go to a restaurant with your parents and you can drink the alcohol with your parents if you're having a meal, but you have to be at least 12 years old. I believe that's the law.
Right. Well, that makes perfect sense. Yeah. I mean, I don't even know why they give it to a 12-year-old, but I mean, so say you're 14-year-old, it might be different, but.
Yeah, I know of a person whose 12-year-old child drank mimosas on Easter Sunday.
Wow. Well, now what you do at your own house is different, you know, but I'm talking about out in public.
I'm talking about at a restaurant. I'm talking about at a restaurant on Easter Sunday.
Oh yeah, maybe not.
the child drinking mimosas while the parent was drinking mimosas with the Easter.
Wow.
I can guarantee you I observed that more than once. I'm going to miss it. I guess I'll get a keganator of Miller High Life. Tastes very close. And Tyler says, I don't know why I enjoy these hangouts so much. Maybe I'll join in one day. Where's William? William didn't want to get the old granddad. He's got too much backstock. And what is his channel? His channel is like the Drunken Ones channel. It don't exist.
Huh? I have a channel?
Oh, wait, that's right. You have a channel. I get mixed up.
Come on now.
Oh, wait.
Come on now. You're the only person who's not subscribed to me.
All right. Let me retract that statement. That's right. The Drunken One has the homebrew channel. Yeah, the homebrew channel. And no, I'm thinking. Yeah, William does it.
I do crappy reviews. And
I had a mental lapse. I blame it on the bourbon. I had a mental lapse. I blame it on the bourbon. No. I get confused. I have been up since 2:45 this morning, so that's another excuse. John does not have a channel, and William does not have a channel, and who else does not have a channel? There's a whole bunch of people that don't have channels, so it gets confused in my head, you know. But they're on everybody's channel. They're on so much you think they have a channel, you know. But that's right. The Drunken One has a channel. What am I talking about? I'm subscribed to it. I must have gone crazy.
Hell yeah.
So watch the Drunken.
If y'all are looking for it, has your name on there spelled the same way, and I'm on YouTube.
Yeah, Drunken One. He's got a channel, and I'm subscribed to it. So pay no mind to the man behind the curtain. And then William, we're always telling William, make a channel, make a channel. William said, no, no, no.
Don't want any part of that.
He likes to join in, but he doesn't feel like messing with all of that, you know. Well, hey, Drunken One, I appreciate you joining.
Well, thank you.
I never had somebody join while they were driving.
Oh, really? I've done this a couple of times. I'm here now. I'm in the driveway. I'm about to throw it in the park.
Okay, first time, folks. Hey, John, thanks for coming up with this idea.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. Glad we got to examine it. So
yeah, so we give 2 thumbs up to old granddad, and then we might have a big blowout coming up with Early Times starring the Drunken One, John, William Shepley, myself, and probably a whole gang of people, because once they hear about it, they all want to join. You know how that works. But that's good.
Hell yeah.
It's better that way, really. Tyler might join. We had a new guy join last Wednesday night. Who was it?
Jacob.
Jacob joined.
Jacob Miller, I think.
Yeah, Jacob Miller joined. So, hey, man, it's like, hey, the gang's all here. All right. Well, thanks, everybody, and for watching. Thank you, Drunken One, and John for joining. Drunken One, I apologize again for saying you didn't have a channel.
That's quite all right.
What was in my head right there. All right. Well, so that looks like that's about it. Y'all have a safe, fun weekend, and take care, everybody.
Cheers.